Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Airspeed Reads Naruto video. This one is going to be my review for Naruto Volume 50, Water Prison Deathmatch is the title of this one. Pretty nice cover here, Naruto, Killer Bee, Kisame on the cover. And yeah, we cover another 10 chapters I believe. We cover 464 to 473, The Power of Darkness, the Summit Hall attacked, the Great Battle in the Sealed Room, Declaration of War, 8 Tails and 9 Tails, Sakura's Confession, Killer Bee vs. Kisame, 8 Tails version 2, Water Prison Deathmatch, and Bro. So overall, another solid volume. Some really big stuff happens here, like huge in terms of where the series is going from this point on. Obviously with the declaration of war and the kind of reveal about what Operation Tsukinome is. In addition to, you know, some very kind of emotional stuff in the middle with Sakura's confession and kind of how Naruto reacts to that. But I suppose where we kind of end off, it's just kind of more of setup for like, okay, gradually moving Naruto into kind of where things are going next. Him, in terms of being focused on the plot right now, is more on kind of emotional stuff rather than him being directly related to the plot. Right now, the plot focus is on the 5 Kage as they kind of figure out what to do with the formation of the Ninja Alliance. You know, they're going to be keeping the war away from Naruto and Killer Bee and not really telling them about it. And the kind of plot continues to kind of build as we kind of get to the war. And the stuff that needs to be set up is obviously that, okay, we have the good guy's side, but on the bad guy's side we have what? Kisame, who, as far as this volume seems to suggest, is dead, and Madara, and maybe Sasuke and the rest of Team Taka. That seems to be about it for their side of things, but obviously there's obviously stuff still to be revealed about Black and White Zetsu and what they can do, but still, you know, there's a huge kind of power level on the bad guy side that probably hasn't been revealed yet. But overall, some very, very important plot stuff in the middle with what the main plan is for the war. And also, I suppose, a setup for stuff with regards to the war, of how the 5 Kage decide to handle the 8 Tails and 9 Tails, the last 2 Jinchuriki left on the good guy side. So, some important stuff. But let's go through it. So we start off with fighting. Obviously, we get initially we start off with the Raikage continuing to attack Sasuke. His arm is on fire, and he is about to basically pound Sasuke into the ground until Gaara actually blocks the Raikage's attack with his sand, and then basically has to explain that I didn't do this to protect Sasuke. I did this for your sake. I did this so you wouldn't injure yourself even more against Amaterasu. And as he does this, basically the Raikage just stops his attack and basically just uses like lightning style and just chops his arm off, so the black flames don't engulf his entire body, and just has one of the guys who's there with him to protect him just heal the stump that's left. So pretty awesome stuff here from the Raikage, just casually chopping his own arm off and basically sacrificing a limb in that way. We do get some pretty interesting Gaara-Sasuke stuff in that they have obviously fought before, and we haven't really addressed, you know, Gaara's thoughts on Sasuke, because obviously Gaara felt that he and Sasuke were quite similar initially, but Gaara has since developed and Sasuke hasn't. And Gaara's here just trying to kind of give him a chance, kind of like Naruto did to him, give him a chance to see the light, but it's clear that that's not going to happen. And Gaara, as the Kazekage, is kind of forced to fight to kind of do this. And we get basically the reveal here as the fight progresses of Sasuke, I suppose, fully revealing the Susanoo, that he doesn't have full control over it yet, but can more or less get the full thing active. Danzo's involvement in this volume sort of disappears around this point. He flees the summit at this point in time with his 2 guards. And basically, it's left for the other Kage to deal with Sasuke. He encounters the Mizukage. She reveals she has Lava style, but also that she has another Kekkei Genkai Vapor style. And because Sasuke is already so tired from fighting all of the other Kage, he's actually just about to lose the fight until the Zetsus come in and basically save Sasuke, kind of distract everyone, give him his kind of chakra level back, and kind of the fight continues. We also get the Tsuchikage's power revealed, in that he has this particle-style atomic dismantling jutsu. They don't reveal it at this point in time to be the Kekkei Tota, the triple Kekkei Genkai thing, but I assume that will come. That's one thing I felt in the anime that was given a little bit more impact. Here it's just kind of like a bottom panel, like he just does the atomic dismantling jutsu and we think Sasuke's dead. Whereas I think in the anime it was emphasized a lot more. But maybe that's just me. But it's at this point that Madara Toby comes in and basically just sits down and explains to them Operation Tsukunomi to them. So we get the big reveal here. A lot of the dialogue that he says here is very important as he kind of talks about this. So let me get to the important stuff. They try to attack him initially. He has Karin heal Sasuke in his own kind of inner dimension, I suppose, and basically just reveals that part of this comes from the fact that there is a ancient stone tablet passed down within the Uchiha clan. It still exists in a room beneath Konoha, and you can only read it unless you have specific ocular powers. So he says the Sharingan, the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the Rinnegan, and they kind of figure out that, oh, you have the Mangekyo Sharingan, you had a guy with the Rinnegan on your team, you know the full tablet, and you know the full extent of this. And he goes into the Sage of Six Paths kind of once more again, and basically explains what happened in the past to make the Sage such a powerful hero. In that he kind of basically says that he sealed away the Ten Tails. The Ten Tails being the amalgamation of all of the Nine Tails combined into one being. And it was the Sage's defeat of the Ten Tails and kind of sealing away that ultimately was the big moment that turned him into a legend. And it's kind of said that he sealed away the body, the chakraless body of the monster, and hurled it into the sky, and it became the moon. So they can establish in the Naruto universe here that the moon is actually the kind of dead corpse to a degree of the Ten Tails, which turns out to be roughly this true story, but obviously without Kaguya really mentioned in it, and that he kind of sealed the chakra power of the Ten Tails within himself to suppress it, and that on his deathbed he used the last of his powers to separate the power of the Ten Tails into nine-tailed beasts, and that's why they are at this point in time, which explains kind of the Akatsuki's overall plot up to now of them trying to bring all the Ten Tails back together and then sealing them within the Gedo statue, and that, like, oh, the Gedo statue is something related to the Ten Tails, and them sealing the energy of the tailed beast within that thing is kind of how they revive it. So, like, the whole plan is kind of coming together here, all these little hints. And so then he reveals also that once he does this and becomes the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he's going to do a super genjutsu where he projects his eye off the moon's surface, an infinite Tsukiyomi, and he basically wants all humans on the earth to live under his genjutsu so he can control them all, unifying the world. A world with no bad blood, no wars, everything will become one and united under me. That's what it is. And he says there's no hope for the real world, as all the Kage tried to argue that, no, that's not real peace, that's an illusion of peace. And Toby just kind of points out, well, before you have done all of you have done nothing to kind of make peace actually happen, so at least I'm doing something. As he basically just says, okay, you're not going to give in to me right now, then I declare war on you. We'll start the fourth great ninja war at this point in time. And he's just right there in the middle of the what's meant to be the most secure summit of the good forces of the shinobis, and he's just there right in the middle of them. They're powerless to do anything really against him, and he just declares war on them and leaves. It's such a kind of powerful moment of just the fact that he can do that. He can just stand there, declare war, leave, and just cause all this chaos just by having that thing happen. So he leaves, and for the most part, the drama of this situation is over. Sasuke is kind of obviously going after Danzo, is kind of where his aim is. And we just get after this the remaining Kage discussing the fact that, okay, we need to form the Allied Shinobi forces. Danzo was originally going to be the leader. He's gone. He's betrayed the Leaf Village and everything like that. That needs to be known. They figure out that, okay, Gaara's going to go and tell Kakashi what happened with Danzo and that they need to elect a new Hokage and what Danzo was up to. And it's also kind of revealed during this that the Raikage gets the news that Killer Bee wasn't actually captured by Sasuke, that he is still actually out there, and the Raikage is annoyed because this means that Killer Bee used this as a chance to basically escape and not be under guard, and he's really annoyed at this. So Mifune, the leader of the samurai, basically makes the Raikage the leader of the shinobi forces, and that he feels that he'll be calmer now that Killer Bee is revealed to be alive. And then they address what they're going to do with the two key players that they have on their side that the Akatsuki want. The 8 Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee and the 9 Tails Jinchuriki Naruto. The Kage discuss what they're going to do with them. The Tsuchikage wants to use them in the battle, that they're their only real weapons within the war. Whereas Gaara, the Mizukage and the Raikage all agree that they don't want to use the Jinchuriki in battle because that will be basically giving the two keys that are left on the good guys' side to the villains, in that they'll be fighting in the front lines, and if they go down, the villains instantly have them, whereas if they keep them secret, keep them hidden and protected, that instantly keeps the victory away from the good guy forces. And it's just this idea going into the battle of, will the good guy forces without Naruto and Killer Bee be able to contend against whatever Madara is going to throw their way? Or will it be required that Naruto and Killer Bee enter the battlefield to even keep the war in any way even? Mifune kind of basically alleviates all the concern about this by saying, okay, the samurai will join in this war as well. The fate of the world is at stake. We will join forces with the shinobi, and we will go to war on this front. So we kind of get that stuff addressed as well. So after that, we basically just get the setup for Killer Bee's out messing around with people, and Kisame comes over to fight him. So Kisame has actually come to properly hunt down the 8 Tails at this point in time. He's found him, and that's going to be a big fight. At the same point as everyone else catches up with Naruto. So Sakura, Kiba, Sai, Rock Lee, they all catch up with where Yamato, Kakashi, and Naruto are. And so we get the reveal of what exactly Sakura was planning to say to Naruto that was so meaningful. And this is the thing I've been setting up for the last couple of volumes. I really like this couple of panels, this kind of couple of pages as they address this. And it's basically that Sakura comes over to Naruto and says, Naruto, I said I love you. Sasuke doesn't mean anything anymore to me. I was totally wrong to ever like him in the first place. You ought to listen carefully when a girl confesses her feelings to you. And it's this idea that, because they haven't revealed the extent behind this, you're just like, whoa, is this real? But then, as you see her kind of say this, as you see basically the little flashback panels, Naruto's reaction to this, he knows that this can't possibly be the truth. And then we as the audience begin to figure out that she's doing this to protect Naruto. That because she has kind of burdened Naruto with this idea of the promise, you promised, you pledged, you never go back on your word, you will get Sasuke back for me. That's the promise of a lifetime that he made to Sakura, and that she's kind of been wanting him to fulfill. And at this point in time, she's basically like, okay, look, there's been no sign in any way of him coming back. It seems to all intents and purposes that he is a rogue shinobi. And in her mind, she's kind of made the decision now that she would rather accept missing one person who she really likes and loves than potentially missing 2 people if Naruto got himself killed trying to get Sasuke back on that mission. That she is willing to kind of basically choose someone different. She's willing to put away her feelings for Sasuke and basically, have a relationship with Naruto, if that is enough to kind of save Naruto from basically getting himself killed and hurt on the path to getting Sasuke back. So it's a very kind of selfless move on Sakura's part, in that she's thinking that this is potentially the only way that she can stop him, by just admitting that she loves him, and potentially the shock of this kind of distracting Naruto enough that they'll start a relationship and he'll maybe will abandon what's going on with Sasuke. Now, of course, we know Naruto as a character is never just going to give up on Sasuke, but for Sakura, this is obviously her putting herself super out there to kind of do this, to try and help protect Naruto. And I definitely respect her as a character for at least trying this, even though she kind of, even though the reaction that she gets from Naruto, and she kind of talks about how, no, I'm trying to be serious here. I respect her kind of trying to make this kind of decision to help Naruto, in that it highlights their friendship, obviously more so than a romance here, in that she really does care about Naruto as a friend and doesn't want to lose him, because obviously missing two people would be worse than just missing Sasuke at this point in time. But in a way, I suppose, Naruto's sticking to his guns and basically saying that he wants to go after Sasuke for his own sake as well as everyone else's. That I like that Naruto's response to this is not that he in any way believes it. He's like, he initially is just kind of like, whoa, is this actually happening? But then quickly realizes that no, Sakura loves Sasuke, not me. And I like that. I really, really like this page of just him saying, I hate people who lie to themselves. That technically that's what she's doing, but I suppose at this point in time Naruto doesn't really see that it's kind of for his sake as such. And it's just like him committing to the fact that, I want to rescue Sasuke for my own sake. I'm not going to back down on this. And Sakura storms off, and basically behind everyone else's back is kind of like, Kiba, help me go after Sasuke. I'm going after him on my own. That she has made the decision at this point in time to try and deal with Sasuke herself, because if she, I suppose at this point in time, she's just like, I will not lose Naruto and Sasuke at the same time. Instead, if I absolutely have to, I will commit to taking out Sasuke myself, even if it's just to save Naruto. And it's interesting, it is the most ideal plot, not necessarily, but I still think it is a very interesting plot. The rest of the volume focuses on the Killer Bee Kisame fight. I don't have a ton to say about it. It's interesting, we get a lot of reveals about Samehada, Kisame's sword, and the fact that it's basically alive and loves eating people's chakra, and that's the power of his sword. Plus the setup from Chojuro earlier on, basically saying that Kisame with that sword is effectively Tailed Beast's level of powerful, such as his own chakra levels that he has, plus that sword makes him even more powerful, able to absorb the energy-based attacks of everyone else. And we just get, basically he's forced into a position because Killer Bee goes full Tailed Beast. He's the most powerful Jinchuriki that we've met at this point in time. He has to basically merge with Samehada into this kind of fish form, and eventually the Raikage shows up and they end up double lariating Kisame, and as far as we're aware, killing him by beheading him with the double clothesline technique. So that's pretty interesting ending, in that, as far as we're aware, Kisame has just been killed, but B is now kind of safe within the cloud, and he's going to be protected as well during the war, and I assume not told about the war right now. The cliffhanger that they go for here is Sai coming over to Naruto and basically just saying, I want to relay to you the truth that Sakura tried to but wasn't able to tell you earlier on. That Sai is basically going to reveal what the actual plan of the group was prior to Sakura trying to do the whole distract Naruto with the relationship thing, of basically revealing that all of the other Leaf Shinobi of that age have decided to go after Sasuke to try and take him out. And so, that's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to that. Obviously, knowing from the anime what happens, it is very impactful. But, yeah, I'm just going to end the video pretty much there. Solid enough volume. The stuff with the plan in the middle definitely is the most notable stuff. But, it's just a fight that isn't the best, and then ending with a fight that also I don't think is one of the best fights we have. They're good, but just not, for me, the most interesting ones. So yeah, that's been volume 50. So yeah, only 22 more volumes to go. So now we're getting very close to the end here. So yeah, That's the volume 50 review, so thanks for watching this video, and bye.